Recording. So a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear friends and viewers. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And as you know, the channel, when we started almost a year back, the whole idea was how we as women can come together, we as individuals can come together and learn from each other, whatever we have experienced in last few years of our professional life, personal life. And with that, this month, when I thought of March, I always believe celebrating womanhood than just one day, right? So this is what I'm doing every day. We have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful people coming who are beautiful inside out. And they have been contributing amazingly well to the society. And so many things they are doing that, you know, it's such a big inspiration. So today on my show, I have an amazing, gorgeous looking, sophisticated, elegant woman out there, Rajeshwari Kori. And she told me not to call her ma'am. So I'm putting it on record. I'm not calling you ma'am. So welcome, Rajeshwari, for the show on Parulem.
Thank you so much, Parul.
Yeah, awesome. And so nice.
Delighted.
Yeah, so such a privilege to have you, not ma'am Rajeshwari, here, because the whole idea is how women can uplift women, how we all learn from each other. And once we start doing that, I think, you know, the sky is the limit, right? So thank you very much for accepting. And let me have the pleasure to introduce you first. And then, of course, we'll love to hear more from you. So here it goes that more about her. Rajeshwari Kori is an ex-naval officer, presently serving as Commandant of Civil Defense Staff College in Government of Maharashtra, Home Department Special Aid. She has completed 25 years of government service. Wow. She's the first Indian woman in the Asian subcontinent to be posted on board a naval warship as a logistics officer, and is distinguished in the LIMCA Book of Records in 1997. Wow, amazing. Mrs. Kori is a recipient of Yashaswini Award given away by Ministry of Defense by the hands of Defense Minister Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman on 11th April 2018 for services to nation building. Wow, and I'm sure there's lots there, but amazing. Thank you so much for being such a pride for all of us as women. And the first woman, wow, the first woman naval officer to be placed there. How was the experience? How was it? And tell us more about it, Rajeshwari.
You make it so exciting.
It is.
For me, it was just time and space. It was the right time, and I was at the right place. So, but then there's a background to it. Yes, it was like when I had initially joined the Navy after my ab initio training, my first appointment. In my unit, the lady officers were not given night duties initially.
Okay.
It was a very patriotical kind of structure, like patronizing type. Ladkiyan hai, dena nahi hai. So those kind, like it was a 9 to 5 job. It was very boring, and the logistics officer is nothing but paid allowances, rations, HR, administration, these kind of it's a office desktop job. So it was not so very exciting what we had seen in the Navy, in the movies or serials in those days. That Fauji serial was going on of Shah Rukh Khan and all, all those things. Aisa
kuch nahi tha. Okay.
I was like, ye kya hai? Taking a briefcase every day in the morning, and you know, and those days computerization was not there, so a lot of money used to be paid, salaries used to be paid by in way of cash and all. So a lot of accounting and all those things was there.
Right.
So night duties were not given to us, and it became a talk of joke like. We were ridiculed. Ceremonial purposes, because we used to receive dignitaries, we used to, but there were other units who had taken this proactive approach where their commanding officers used to give night duties. But in this particular unit, it was not being given. That's about it, because I don't want others say, "Arey, humne to kiya tha."
Right.
So in my unit, we were 5 officers and we were not doing. So I just put forth to my Lord 6 officer, and I requested, see, this is what is happening, and the young men are all making jokes out of us. So I would like to be in the sea service. I would like to go to the ships. He was like, "Hey, tu to ladki hai." मैं कहा, "आपको doubt है?"
Good one.
The way I said it, it was like he just made again, excuse, and smiled and ha, laughing, and सबको बुलाया, देखो 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 ये छोकरी को जाना है समुंदर में. I said, okay, fine, ठीक है. 21 years, what you are going to do?
Right.
पीछे मोड़ चलो.
Right.
Then came back, wrote a letter saying that to the commanding officer, I want sea service. He also patronized. नहीं बेटा, ऐसा नहीं होता है हमारे जहाजों में, because there are no toilets, there are just toilets with only one shower curtain, you will not be able to adjust. I said, sir, give that to me in writing. You tell me it cannot be done.
Wow.
And he didn't do that, neither I did that, but fortunately, what we had a direct contact with the naval headquarters, DOP, wherein women officers were given that one chance of breaking the protocol and saying something.
Okay.
So I took that and I approached the naval headquarters and I said, I want to go for sea service.
Okay.
So somehow it got clicked at the higher level.
Okay.
And they said, lady officer wants to go, give us a chance.
Wow.
It is the first time that India will be having lady officers on board naval warships.
Super.
So they started finding out which ships would be suitable for lady officers.
Okay.
And then it was like, why we cannot send only one lady officer? It will not be.
Right.
So who is going to be next? If medical officer ko bheja, because that's the only where the other branch which had lady officers.
Okay.
One Lord 6 officer, one medical officer. Lord 6 officer is khana pina, rations, pay and allowances.
Okay.
Medical officer is for medical reasons.
Right.
So 2 lady officers. So one is ready. Where's the second one?
Okay.
The word went around कि कहाँ करेंगे कैसे करेंगे. All lady officers had their apprehensions. So one lady officer who was very senior, and she said, I'd like to go because she had some compulsions to be staying back in Mumbai.
Okay.
The son was in 12.
Okay.
And the particular ship which was to be given, where we were to be sent on transfer, was in home posting was Mumbai.
Okay.
So that's how it happened, and she also agreed, and I also agreed, and a signal was taken out that 2 lady officers are appointed on board a naval warship, and that was INS Jyoti. Of course, it's a warship, but it's an auxiliary ship.
Right.
It's an oil tanker. It is not per se a warship wherein you have arms and ammunition.
Right.
This is a support ship for other warships to go to sea, give them their rations, fuel, water, whatever.
All right.
So that the ships don't come back, waste their time coming back. They can do their warring or battling at sea.
Okay.
So every ship, whichever 3-4 ships, it would go in groups. 3-4 ships together, one oil tanker. That's how the naval fleet works.
Wow. So that was your first.
Will always be. That was the first, and after that, other 4 lady officers were also given after 4-5 months. Seeing that this is working. So you can, in other words, you can say I was a guinea pig.
You were.
And being a lady of the medical officer was married, and she could go back home in the evenings, whereas I had to be on board like any other single officer, male single officer.
So how was the journey, Rajeshwari? Of course you went for it, you wanted to do it, right? But sometimes a lot of things are there that we want to do them, we reach there, but then when it really happens, then you feel or you taste the other side of it also. So will you like to share, were there any tough times? Were there any difficulties which you had to overcome because, things were not exactly like that?
Since I was as I said, we were pioneer batches. I was from the 4th batch of naval officers induction.
Okay.
And initially my unit had a problem because we were comprising of 6,000 men of war. So it was difficult in the sense that they all come from a set mindset from the hinterlands, where they have never taken orders from women officers.
Right.
But now things have changed a lot, and I'm very, very happy, so glad that all changes are happening while I'm there. I mean, I'm looking at the changes positively.
Good.
So those days the men didn't want to salute me. Even if I was crossing their paths, I wouldn't get salutes. So I realized that better than cribbing, maybe I should introspect myself. There must be something wrong in my leadership that I'm not getting the salutes. So what could be the problem? Okay, leave aside the mindset, but that can be changed. Like if you are good in your job, if you are able to guide the men of war, aisa nahi, aisa karo, waisa karo. So then I think that is where I change my tack, my thinking that I should be 2 steps ahead of them in professionalism. That's the only way I can get hold on it. And I started reading out, and I started everything. I would take time to understand, not take a decision immediately, but go over it, over my mind, come back to my cabin also in the night, go through it, then take it. Because sometimes in salary calculations and all, there are a lot of mistakes also. As I said, computerization was not there. Everything was done manually. Calculator was used. Those kind of primitive methods we had.
Yes.
It was very difficult those days. It was only after 2000 when we had the computerization, we were slightly comfortable. With my induction, we used to pay the officers by directly to the bank. वो भी हम floppy disk में लेके जाते थे, उधर देते थे, and then it would get credited. That also done manually. So it's not like, you know, यहाँ पे किया click आजकल ATM क्या इसको पैसे दिए उसको पैसे दिए, ऐसा नहीं. Those days a guy used to go there. I used to get cash also about almost 4 crores a month. From the Reserve Bank of India, with all the tamjam of, you know, security guards and arms and ammunition, with escorts and all this. Those days were like that. And yes, there was another incident which I'd like to highlight here, and I haven't spoken about it for the simple reason that I didn't want to bring a bad name, but then I saw that this happens even in the corporate. It's how you deal with it. Yes, I'm coming back to the age-old thing. What about sexual harassment? It's like it's not that sexual harassment is not there. It may be subtle. For me, it so happened. I'll just tell my incident. My incident was like there was this senior officer. He was a lieutenant commander and quite almost 11 years senior to me. And I was in my first appointment, and he would come and sit in front of my desk and talk about all the mundane things, but not allowing me. I was not comfortable with it. 1 day over, 2 day over, 3 day over. Okay, whatever help you wanted, you have come from another unit. Fine, we'll do this. Those procedures. Okay, your last pay certificate. Show me. Everything was manual, as I said. आपका LPC दे दो, last pay certificate दिखा दो, आपको उतना मिलता था. अच्छा चलो ठीक है, अभी इतना ले लीजिए. So all those things. You know, after that, तुम्हारा मेरा काम कुछ नहीं है. But still you keep coming and, you know, stand easy ke time mein, like chai ke time mein, you get uncomfortable. Right? You have jobs to do. You don't have only this. You have to talk to another person. So he started becoming over familiar, and one day he said that we carry these identity cards in our left side pocket. He says, tell me one thing, your identity card doesn't take the shape of your chest, bending. I mean, because of the structure, the men's structure is straight. So yes. Straight. I was like, I didn't know what to say to him. I said, please leave. And henceforth, please do not come here. He went out. Now it was a question like, what to do? Will you go and crib to your seniors? Or are you going to, you know, do dishum? Both are not possible. You cannot badmouth also. It is something very subtly, as a woman, you can you understand it, and you can carry forward it, whether you want to do it delicately or whether you want to do a hulla bulla. Not that I'm saying कि somebody else should do ये तो बहुत सीधी सादी बात है. ऐसा नहीं था. It was just that I didn't want to bring a bad name to my family, to myself, and to my unit, my CEO, my colleagues and all by making a brouhaha कि इसने ऐसे ऐसे बोल दिया, कुछ तो था नहीं वैसे.
Right.
But ऐसा तो कुछ था नहीं, only बोलने के इससे है. So why make an issue out of it? But at the same time, my own consciousness didn't like it. So how do I, this kind of insult? Should I take it lying low? What do I do? I cannot go and crib. I have joined the defense to defend the nation. If I cannot defend myself, then I have no job or my business to be in defense then. Superb. So I called my second in the unit, second in the branch. He was a master chief. I said, साहब ऐसा करो कि जो officers का जो pay and allowances का salary sheet है ना, वो पूरा मैं बनाऊंगी. बाकी सब सेलर्स का जितना भी बाहर का डिपेंडेंट यूनिट्स है उनका आप बनवा दो. मैडम आप बनाओगे, आप लिखोगे? हाँ मेरे को करना पड़ेगा ना कभी तो, सो दैट आई आल्सो लर्न, जस्ट साइन करने से थोड़ी होता है. सीखना भी इसमें मेरे को सीखने को, और मेरे को टाइम पास भी हो जाएगा ना. आप लेके आ जाओ, मैं बनाती हूँ उस बार. सो 25 ऑफिसर्स नॉट अ बिग डील, सो आई मेड द सैलरी शीट एंड the next month जब पैसे गए तो that officer came running. मेरे को 600 रुपए मिले. मेरे को 6000 मिलने थे. मैं कहा सॉरी सर, ये तो बड़ा ह्यूमन एरर हो गया, मैं पहली बार कर रही हूँ, मुझे नहीं मालूम था. अभी कैसा मिलेगा? आप सर आपको अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट में जाना है, इधर जाना है, उधर जाना है. 1 साल लगा उसको मिलने के लिए. So if you know your job, you know where to hit.
Wow.
And you can do it beautifully.
Wow.
If you know the pros and cons, you know the system.
Yes.
You have to tackle yourself.
Right.
There is no need to tell everybody कि क्या हुआ तुम्हारे साथ. लेकिन तुमने उसको घुमा दिया because you knew you were very good at your job.
Okay. All right.
Tomorrow nobody can point out saying कि तो Kori, how come you pay an allowance? Calculation में गलत हो गया ना. And now people, if they try to do, they'll get hanged. They'll have to think of innovative means.
Right. Wow, Rajeshwari, I think I get the point. What you're trying to say is that being smarter in dealing with life challenges,
yes,
especially when it is coming to the opposite gender, and we as women so many times, whether, as you beautifully said, it's not only any particular area, I won't say only corporate, only here. As we are growing up, it is a fact which I am also a mother. I always feel, and I was also a daughter, I always feel, knowing, as you rightly said, knowing your strengths, and instead of, really taking it in a different way, that is your choice what you want to take, but make sure that you have hit it in the right way, because that is how it's very important how you defend yourself, right? So it's a very, very important message which Rajeshwari is giving. So before we wind up, Rajeshwari, 2 to 3 things I feel, because you've been in a field where a lot of people will feel that, that it's impossible for a woman to be into defense services, or it was so tough, and how, and also I will like to bring it up that a lot of times it is a general view also, all the men out there will be like looking down upon you, or will be, you'll be all alone out there. Will you like to clarify here that how is the world out there in defense services, and how a woman is also seen in a other way also as a respect or something, whatever you experience on the other part also? Yeah, Rajeshwari.
Again, it's like your outlook, how it is,
right,
you are looking at it, whether
right,
you want to go ahead with this. It's like you're going from point A to point B.
Yeah.
I cannot give some sermons on this, like how you should deal with your life. But nothing comes easy.
Yes.
And
yes,
when you get it, you'll value it more.
right.
If you get it very easily, then you feel like ये तो मिल गया है,
right,
मेरा ये था. So but then when you give an exam, when you give an interview, when you clear the SSB, when you clear the medical test, that euphoria of I have achieved something.
Right.
It's
right.
And when you join the Navy, or when you join the appointment, you have a different thing, because the text language will be different,
right,
and the
right.
life's language will be different. Life will really teach you
right,
to go through it.
Right,
So
right.
in this regard, I find today's generation is much more aware, because the world has come more closer with the onset of these mobiles and internet. In our times, we didn't have anything like this. It was just word of the mouth, and it was Chinese whispers.
Right.
अगर वो if a sailor has bottom pinched a lady officer, उसका बहुत बड़ा बड़ा के हम लोगों को तक पहुंच जाता है. If something happened somewhere in Port Blair, काला पानी, you know, because of the, but now you just pick up a phone, अरे WhatsApp में कर दिया, photo click करे, every person becomes a reporter.
Yes. Correct.
So what I mean to say is, we cannot compartmentalize each and every person's viewpoint. Right. It's like how you look at it. With my one incident, I said ki I could have created a big issue. Right. Or I could have, made a mess out of it.
Right. And that's the choice you made. And that's the choice you made, because you made a choice that, okay, I want to basically really make sure that this person is hit in a particular way, that he must pay for
getting that. Getting not the salary for so many months, it really hits. Right. Because you are the earning member.
Yes.
Got it. This maturity comes to the women more easily than to the men.
Yes, I understand.
There are other things also, like like I said, we wouldn't get salutes and all. After 3 months, when I started seeing the job on my job, I would walk up to the sailor, ask him, why didn't you salute me? No, madam, I'm from Pakistan Navy. Look, eye into eye, I'm from Pakistan Navy. Those days we were anyway with rashness.
Right.
गरम खून तो था ही, तो पाकिस्तान नेवी बोलते थे. आज मैं ऐसा नहीं बोलूंगी.
Right.
भाई मैं क्या फॉरेन नेवी में लग रही हूँ.
Correct.
ऐसे मैं बोले. At my age, I will say मैं क्या फॉरेन नेवी में हूँ.
Right.
But those days we would give the inferences to that, because so that you get that kind of hit. अच्छा हमारे enemy nation का बोला है, मैं क्या.
Right. True.
You have to play with the minds of the men, and then that's how your leadership qualities evolve.
Superb.
When people see you like, अच्छा तो ऐसे बोल रही हैं, मैडम तो ऐसे बोल रही हैं, then automatically the respect and the command comes. You don't have to say कि मेरे को salute दो.
Yes.
So that I had achieved it by
work. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. You said beautifully in the beginning that you introspected and you thought, okay, what is it I can do? And you increased your knowledge and you went all the way. Then automatically there is a method which you used to make sure that you went into their minds to understand that this is what is a way of also respecting. Instead of commanding it, you made it happen for yourself, right?
They started looking up. Okay, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. This is a different way of
true
taking work out of people.
Very nice. So beautiful. So Rajeshwari, what are you doing now before we close? Because I think it's amazing conversation, which I'm learning from here, that,
thank you.
Because it's so much, so beautifully and so simply you are saying that a lot of people who are watching it, I'm sure the subtle messages, what she's giving in various ways, whether it is for your own self, it is not just about the salute or about somebody misbehaving with you, or how will you decide how to treat with things. It's so many things coming in one bundle. So I'm loving this conversation. So what are you doing now, Rajeshwari, and how is that this work of yours now being using Rajeshwari's that power of that woman who's there within?
I was expecting this question. Anyway, this job also I got it because of my experience in the defense.
Okay.
The Maharashtra government has advertised that they wanted ex-service officers for this particular post.
Fantastic.
And gender was not mentioned.
So good.
So I just
good.
I got selected. I joined, and 2010 I joined Maharashtra government.
Okay.
This is a civil defense organization. It is called fourth line of defense in India.
Okay.
All
right.
Like after army, after the armed forces, police, the fourth line would be the civilians. It is like, if any emergency or any disaster happens, we train citizens in how to deal with the disasters, how to be the first responder, and how to able to manage that particular incident till the government agencies come. Because it's a local population which gets affected. So what happens is immediately if a fire has broken, or there is an earthquake, or there's a landslide, there is a cyclone, the locals are affected, and it is the other area local people only coming and helping you out if it is an accident.
Right.
So, and many a times the agency agencies wouldn't know the way out.
Right.
So it is the locals' help which was required. And if we train them, and being a government organization, we train people free of cost.
Okay,
and we make
fantastic.
them our volunteers. We give
Okay.
them an identity card. We give them all the privileges as that of a government servant.
Okay.
You know, they can work in times of emergencies. And as a gratitude, thank you that you have come to the aid of the nation. We give them appreciation. We give them awards. We give them a nominal amount of money to serve the expenses of going and coming back.
Going and coming. Okay.
To their employers who have allowed them, relieved them to do the government job. We take no objection certificate from the employers that if they leave their employees, it will be good for the nation. In fact, they are indirectly helping out the nation.
So how can they approach you? Just for my viewers out here who will be watching your video right now, how can people approach you for this?
Yeah, every state in Maharashtra, or for that matter, every state has a civil defense organization or a home guard organization.
Civil defense, how do you call it? Civil defense organization?
Civil defense organization.
Okay.
Civil defense organization.
Okay.
Or home guard organization.
Home guard, yes.
So these two organizations are available, are there in every district.
Okay.
You can approach the district collector if you are from the district, or if you are in the capital, then I think it is under the DGP, Director General of Police. In my Maharashtra state, we have a DGP heading this organization. And there are 6 districts where civil defense is active because of the multi-hazard districts. These are the most vulnerable districts. So these vulnerable districts need the civil defense measures as and when it was earlier because of war that these organizations were erected. But now there is no aamne-samne war, face-to-face war. But there are certainly, like, bomb blasts and all.
Yeah, so of course.
Civilians
I do remember
help each other.
Certain calamities, right? Floods coming in, or such things also coming. I've seen, and when even especially during COVID times, I was in Delhi for some time. I saw a lot of these home guards. Now, when you say, I can remember these young boys and girls who were, sitting outside the houses and doing duties, right?
They were actively involved.
Right. Fantastic.
And
fantastic.
I have done this Kolhapur floods in 2019. I have led a 62-member team. And when I reached there, the water was almost about 50 feet, and everybody was like, how to reach out to the villagers. And somehow I just rang up the naval authorities, and they said, you are there? Then we'll give you 8 Geminis. You can take them.
Okay,
so we had 8 boats with us.
Okay.
And my team was like, wow, ma'am ne to ye kar diya. So we had their diving team, the naval diving team, and my team. We really worked together, collaborated together. We went to the villagers, gave them medicines, gave them relief materials, and we would come back also.
Fantabulous.
We were there for almost a week. Like, everybody was surprised that civil defense organization is not known to the public so much. But how come the Navy is collaborating with civil defense?
Yes,
so it came out later that the leader heading that team happens to be an ex-service officer. And it was more easy for me to, collaborate, contact the right people. And they were also equally happy to help the people. Navy is always har kaam desh ke naam.
Yes,
so
very
it was
nice.
always
so nice.
that this thing is there at the back of a mind to help the people.
Amazing.
This was one of the incidents. And even in Corona, the naval dockyard gave us 2 thermo sensors when nobody had how to gauge the temperature of the migrants.
Right.
So there was one captain in the naval dockyard. I contacted him also. Said, sir, can you give me your indigenously built thermometers? Says, yeah, of course, for you, anything.
So nice. So much of respect. Amazing, Rajeshwari. I think
district collector was like, आपको मिल गए? हम यहाँ पे लगा रहे हैं, कॉर्पोरेट्स को बोल रहे हैं, फैक्ट्रीज को बोल रहे हैं.
जी.
आप रख लीजिए, अभी मिल गया, हर काम देश के नाम.
Arey wow, superb. Salute to you. Really fantastic, Rajeshwari. Thank you so much. And that's why I was calling you ma'am, not because of anything else, but the kind of respect. The ma'am is coming out of respect that, amazing. Thank you so much. Har kaam desh ke naam. So I think, my dear viewers, join me in saying a big thank you. A big thank you from all of us, not for just coming for this show, but really doing so much and so beautifully handling life in a different way. And ये जो आप इतनी simply कह रही हैं, मैं जानती हूँ कि ये इतना आसान नहीं है उन चीजों को handle करना, लेकिन you have done it and you've been there. So I think it's a huge inspiration for so much, so many of us who are sitting here in not in defense but sitting here, and we keep cribbing about things, ye nahi ho raha hai, wo nahi ho raha hai, and people like you are out there fighting out so many odds and trying to, as you said, har kaam desh ke naam. And I think this is a message I am taking away, that stop cribbing, stop finding excuses. If people can do it, Rajeshwari can do it out there. Wherever you are, it's not necessarily that you have to be in defense to defend, as you beautifully said. And I loved one sentence what you said, which I want to highlight before we close this, is all about that मैं देश की डिफेंस की बात कर रही हूँ, मैं अपने को डिफेंड कर पा रही हूँ कि नहीं, right? So that was a beautiful statement. And with that sorry yeah, with that, I like to close today's conversation. I'll love to keep talking to you, Rajeshwari ji, but for sure, definitely, I'm sure Parul, we will have later on coming certain panel discussions on women rights, women, how can we educate them more? We are already empowered, but how that power within can be unleashed, and how inspiration like you can be a blockbuster for us to learn, is what I'm looking for. So my dear viewers, please like, subscribe and share. As many as shares we get, as many likes we get, we are able to take this message to many people out there. So with that, thank you so much for the show.
Thank you so much, Parul.
And
namaste.
Thank you so much, namaste, and thank you for as you said, being there for us, and salute to absolute salute to all your work what you've done till now. Thank you.
Thank you, my pleasure. Bye.
Bye-bye.